Hi guys, it's me, Chazza HD, and welcome back to the channel. Of course, I've not done what do you call it, content for quite a number of weeks, but out of the blue, I have to do a stream right now because we have had some absolutely massive news break today in the world of Formula One, and it is all about this man and the Scuderia Ferrari team. It has not officially, but pretty much it has been announced that Lewis Hamilton will leave Mercedes at the end of 2024 and join Ferrari for 2025, replacing Carlos Sainz Jr. to partner Charles Leclerc, who, of course, a few days ago, or days ago or a week ago, something like that, Leclerc signed a new contract, a new long-term contract at the Ferrari team, lasting until I think 2029. So yeah, what a day! What a day it's been. We've had lots of F1 news in the last week or so. Leclerc and Norris renewing their contracts. The Andretti news, which a bitter disappointment for us F1 fans yesterday. And then this news. Wow. I I never thought this would happen. I thought he was a Mercedes guy for life. You know, all the backing he'd had from Mercedes-Benz for such a long time, and given what they had done together, I thought they would never split apart. And I thought, Hamilton going to Ferrari was just never realistically going to happen. But clearly, something has changed with either, with the relationship between Hamilton and Mercedes, or just Lewis's, I guess, plans going forward in terms of what he's going to be doing for the rest of his Formula One career, going forward from this point, to allow, this move to happen. Yeah, just an incredible piece of news. And what we're going to do in this stream, which is not going to be, by the way, the longest stream, because, again, it still hasn't been officially announced. We don't have any actual statements to get into, which I really am looking forward to really understand a bit more as to why this is happening and will happen for 2025. But really, what we're going to do is, get into why I think this decision has been made by Lewis Hamilton. And of course, you guys in the comments and the live chat, make sure to let me know, why do you think Lewis Hamilton has decided to do this? Is it because he's already found out the Mercedes car, the much revised Mercedes car for 2024, still is pretty poor? Is it because of a breakdown of, relations behind the scenes at Mercedes? Does he just want to race for Ferrari because he knows he's only got probably 2 or 3 years left? Let me know what you think the reason is. I'll be very curious to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, there's a poll running at the top of the live chat. And in that poll, I've asked you guys simply, will Lewis Hamilton win a Drivers' World Championship for Ferrari? Yes or no, or don't know. Let me know which option you think is the most likely to happen. Before we get into, why Lewis Hamilton may have made this decision, I do want to first of all just get into the legitimacy of the reports, just so certain people out there don't think that, I'm just completely making this up. So there were lots of reports by different F1 journalists earlier today. Adam Cooper, you had Andrew Benson, who obviously works for BBC. But once Chris Medland tweeted about it, we pretty much knew then that it was confirmed. And if I just find the tweet quickly, there you go. Get it up on screen. Hopefully this all works. So you can see here Chris Medland tweeting earlier at 11 a.m. UK time, which was, 4 hours ago, saying no official confirmation yet from either side, but am told Hamilton to Ferrari is accurate, set to replace Sainz in 2025, forming partnership with Leclerc, a massive move. And when Chris Medland, when he tweets something, it is the truth. He's not gonna just tweet out random bullshit. He is the most reliable journalist in the Formula One space. He is, yeah, just incredible when it comes to the reporting of news. So we had that, but then just I'll go back to this. Just what, half an hour or so ago, Sky Sports. Yeah, Sky Sports. Let me just get it up on. Have pretty much now confirmed that. Let me just get it. But yeah, the Mercedes employees at Brackley have now been told. Let me just get this up on screen. You can just see here the top of Rachel Brooks's head. Yeah, Mercedes employees in Brackley have been told that Lewis Hamilton will be leaving at the end of the 2024 season. They went on also to report, Guy, that the meeting apparently conducted by Toto Wolff lasted about 10 minutes. Yeah, very curious to hear once the official announcements come out from, say, Ferrari and even especially Lewis Hamilton, just to understand why this decision has been made. So, when it comes to why this has happened, if we start with Ferrari, this is not exactly a surprise that they've been pursuing Lewis Hamilton, because at the end of the day, if you're a Ferrari, if you're running Ferrari, that's got to be your job when it comes to employing drivers, is trying to get the absolute best drivers into your car. Because of course, with the pull that Ferrari have over, so many out there, it's going to be a lot easier for them to sign drivers than it is for anybody else, because Ferrari are the biggest Formula One team out there, without a doubt. So it's not a surprise that Ferrari have been trying to pull this move off for so long. And even though having Hamilton and Leclerc in the same team now, you have the situation of two number one drivers, and that will be a bit tricky to manage. They've gone for the best driver lineup possible and shown their clear intent to try and win the World Championship, whether it be in 2025 or 2026. Of course, we'll need to see how long the contract is for Hamilton at Ferrari. Will it be a very short-term deal? We'll have to see. But I'm not surprised Ferrari have pursued this move, because, having Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari is, for many, a dream that looks like it's coming true. And with the pull that Ferrari have, and the just how iconic of a team they are, there's no point not trying to sign drivers like Lewis Hamilton, who are still right up there with the very best on the grid. And of course, Lewis Hamilton, a 7 times world champion. Now, with Lewis Hamilton, why exactly do we think he has decided to do this? Again, we don't know for sure, so we're just guessing at this point. But if I was to guess, I would say that in the simulator, in the last couple of months, I think he has probably seen that Mercedes' car for 2024, even if it's improved, it probably still isn't good enough for what he ideally wants. And I think he has probably been, looking back, for the last year, he's probably been contemplating leaving Mercedes for the last year or so. But the reason probably he's waited until this point is because he wanted to understand a bit from the data, the simulator data, and the wind tunnel data, as to how competitive the Mercedes car truly was going to be in 2024. And my guess, again, we're not going to know this for sure until we get to preseason testing, and the first Grand Prix in Bahrain is thankfully only a month away. Preseason testing only 3 weeks away. Yeah, we're not going to know for sure until then, but my guess is that he already knows that the Mercedes car just still isn't good enough. And he's decided, you know what? I'm in my last probably 2 to 3 years at most of my F1 career. Why not make the jump to Ferrari? He's said that it's something, as going to Ferrari, it's something that he's been interested in the last few years. And at this current point, if you look at, I know in 2023, Mercedes beat Ferrari in the championship, but Ferrari won a race, and Ferrari were, in the second half of the season, a lot more competitive than Mercedes. Looking at 2022 as well, Ferrari were way more competitive than the Mercedes team. Ferrari have looked more likely to fight for the championship than Mercedes have since the start of this current ground effect era that started in 2022. So I can, you know, if that's, if he knows that he's not going to be around for much longer, and also knows that the Mercedes car still is not going to be up to the standard needed to win a championship, then yeah, why not? Why not join Ferrari? We'll see, obviously, how he does compared to Charles Leclerc. Will be a very, very intriguing battle between those two drivers. And the reason I love that we're going to get Hamilton and Leclerc in the same team is because we'll get to understand a lot about how good is Lewis Hamilton right now at this point in his career, and truly, how good is Charles Leclerc, especially when it comes to his speed in qualifying. Because if you look at Leclerc and the teammates he's had, Sauber had Marcus Ericsson, who's, a decent driver, nothing special. Was teammates with Sebastian Vettel, but Sebastian was past his prime. He's been teammates with Carlos Sainz, who's probably been in his prime, but Carlos is not a top driver, like one of the elite. So now we get to see truly how quick Leclerc is, compared to the other elite drivers, because Lewis is still one of the absolute best out there. Maybe not the best right now, but he's still in the top three. There is no doubt about that. So, yeah, cannot wait to see how those two fare against one another, and if the Ferrari car in 2025 is able to win the World Championship, then it could be, next year could be a incredibly exciting season, but it is still quite far away. You have to remember that. Lewis Hamilton, obviously we'll hear what his official reasons were later on when he releases a statement, whenever that is. They hopefully sometime in the next few months we'll hear really what was the reason behind Lewis deciding to leave Mercedes, which is still a massive shock. We have to remember he joined Mercedes in 2013. 2013 doesn't feel that long ago, but it really is quite long ago. 11 years ago. That is, quite a long time, especially in Formula One, where, drivers do move around quite often. So yeah, it's still a shock that this partnership has come to an end. And yeah, what do Mercedes now do with Lewis Hamilton jumping ship to the Scuderia? George Russell, of course, is going to be at the team long term. He's, Mercedes through and through, and I don't think anyone else is going to be trying desperately to poach him when, teams like McLaren have obviously got Norris and Piastri, who they like a lot. The Ferrari now have got Leclerc and Hamilton. Red Bull have got Verstappen. Aston Martin have got Alonso. So, yeah, they've got Russell, but who long term is going to be Lewis Hamilton's replacement? As far as I'm concerned, it can be only one man, even though that person may not quite be a man just yet. And his name is Kimi Antonelli, who, of course, will be racing in Formula 2 this year. And I'll be obviously covering Formula 2. Can't wait to cover that again this year and to see truly how good is this kid. And if Antonelli can say do what Lewis Hamilton did in GP2 in 2006, where he is easily the best driver and dominates the championship, then I think the best decision is to throw Antonelli in his debut season next year. Because, if Antonelli does prove that he truly is a generational talent, then why wait? May as well just throw him straight in rather than putting in, like, an Ocon or someone like that who's going to be a short term option for a couple years. So yeah, we'll see what Antonelli does, and I think Antonelli absolutely could be a Mercedes driver next season if he really does dominate the series. But it's going to be hard for Antonelli to do that because there are several other very talented drivers in Formula 2. You got Oliver Behrman, who's going to be his teammate this year. What a battle that's going to be. And then you've got Victor Martins as well. So yeah, it's not going to be easy for Kimi, but that is the number one option to replace Hamilton long term, in my view. I think it's pretty clear long term option is Antonelli. But if they decide Mercedes to put Antonelli in the Williams for a couple of years, then short term, who is going to replace Lewis Hamilton? Yeah, maybe an Esteban Ocon, because obviously, I think Esteban still has ties to Toto Wolff and Mercedes in a way. That, would make sense. Obviously, got Pierre Gasly, maybe an Alex Albon. Obviously, Albon gets on very well with Russell. So, yeah, there's plenty of options for the short term. But long term, as far as I'm concerned, there can only be one option to replace Hamilton. Kimi Antonelli. But we'll see, of course, how he does Formula 2 this year as to how quickly he can get into that Mercedes car. But yeah, very exciting news that Lewis Hamilton is joining Ferrari. Before, though, I come to you guys in the comments to see what you guys have to say. And make sure as well to let me know, why do you think Lewis Hamilton is joining Ferrari? What do you think his reasons are? Let's just quickly touch on the man being replaced at the Scuderia. Man who won Ferrari's only race in 2023, Carlos Sainz. I think, yeah, maybe a bit harsh that he's losing a Ferrari drive at this point, given that he's done mostly well, given the cars he's had to drive. But at the end of the day, Lewis Hamilton is a better driver than Carlos Sainz. So you can't really argue with it. And I think, to be honest, Carlos Sainz, even though he might be a bit miffed when it comes to the treatment by the team, since Fred Vasseur took over team boss, I think he knows even that, Lewis Hamilton is better than him, and that if it's a choice between Hamilton and Sainz legitimately, Ferrari are only going to go for one person. So, yeah. What does Carlos Sainz now do? There's been rumors already that, Williams might be an option. I would be very surprised by that because I don't see how Williams would be able to afford to have Carlos Sainz at the team. The only option for me, clearly, is Audi. Obviously, if he was to join that team in 2025, they wouldn't be Audi in 2025. It would be the Sauber team. But obviously would become Audi in 2026. We know the team principal of Sauber that will later become Audi, Andreas Seidel, who of course was team principal of McLaren when Carlos Sainz was there, is a big fan of Carlos. They have a great relationship. And I think that is the very obvious move that is going to happen. I don't think Carlos Sainz is going to Mercedes. I don't think Carlos Sainz is going to Williams, and any other team on the grid I just don't see as a realistic option for Carlos. And I think the best thing for him to do would be to go to Audi, because if he goes to Mercedes, they would not they're not going to be having him there as a long-term option for the team. It would be for the short term before, Antonelli properly develops into superstar driver. The best hope for Carlos to be at a team long term that maybe will win a championship in the future, you never know, is to join the Audi team. it is a risk, of course, because Audi have never, been in Formula One before. And who knows how they'll do truly when they do enter. But, if Carlos Sainz does truly want to win a world championship, then that's, I think, the only move he can go for. Because, as well, with Mercedes, not only is he not going to be a short term option, but does he beat George Russell in the same car? I'm not necessarily sure he does. I think it depends, really. Let's say if they were teammates of Mercedes, it would depend more so on Russell and if Russell could remain consistent. Because as we saw in 2023 with Russell, he was quite inconsistent, but when he was properly on it, he was still very, very quick. I mean, look at the qualifying head to head last year with Russell against Lewis Hamilton. Very, very close. So, yeah, I think the best choice for Carlos is to go to the Sauber team for 2025 and then Audi for 2026. Good move also for Audi, who will then have half of their driver lineup sorted for 2026. And then you'd imagine they'll put a German driver alongside maybe Nico Hulkenberg, which of course would be a repeat of the Renault lineup in 2018. Never thought that would happen again. Who knows? Maybe being a different German driver, Mick Schumacher, or someone in Junior Formula. Say, but yeah, Carlos. Yeah, bit of a shame, but from Ferrari's perspective, can't really again blame them for the decision that they've made because Lewis Hamilton is, the greatest driver, at least in my view, many people's view. Lewis Hamilton is the greatest driver of all time, and is still pretty close to that level that won him 7 world titles. So, yeah, a no-brainer from Ferrari. But yeah, massive news, and let's hope that even if what do you call it? Even if this year we don't get, a 2-team fight for the championship, let's pray to the gods that it does happen for 2025. Because if we get Red Bull versus Ferrari for the championship, we are in for an almighty season 2025 with Verstappen potentially taking on Leclerc and Hamilton in a iconic 3-way fight for the championship. And of course, Max would be going for his 5th world title at that point if he does win number 4 this year. So, yeah, really hope that happens. And, yeah, great to see this massive shake-up, let's say, in the driver market. But I now want to hear from you guys in the chat. So let's see what you guys have to say. And make sure to keep posting your comments as to why you think Lewis Hamilton has made this decision. Make sure to keep voting in the poll at the top of the live chat. Do you think Lewis Hamilton will win the World Championship with Ferrari? Let me know in that poll. Personally, I am going to say no. I don't think he will, because I don't think he'll be at the team long enough, especially if the team is going to be going in a positive direction. And plus, after 2026, who knows who's going to have the best car or not? Way too early to tell. Nib saying, bro stepped into the car the other day and went, nope. You would surely think for this to happen this early in the year that it's performance related. Yeah, I mean, the drivers, they'll be, they would have heard about the data from the new car, probably a couple months ago. And obviously would have been in the simulator in, probably December as well. So, yeah. It wouldn't be a surprise if that is why decided to do this. One thing, though, I am interested in is, and I don't think this was talked about ever, but obviously Lewis Hamilton last year signed a contract extension with Mercedes for 2024 and 2025. So I'm guessing there was a clause inserted that Lewis could leave a year early if he was not happy with the performance of the car. I don't know if that was already talked about or not, but I don't remember it being. Um, Duchess says Ferrari is not consistent. Lewis can't make it there. Dayton Cooper, where does Sainz go? Like I said, probably Audi, but maybe Audi will decide to go for somebody else. But I think most likely it'll be Audi, because if you look at the drivers who are likely to be available for Audi to sign, you're not going to get much better than Carlos Sainz, because none of the elite drivers obviously are going to Audi. Um, find some other comments here. Duchess says Lewis knew Merck wouldn't be competitive this season, hence the decision. Silverback says, hope everybody's doing well. I missed the fuck out of all of you. Same. Good to see you all. And I will actually be getting into, I guess, a channel update of sorts in a moment. Because the original plan was I was going to be returning to streaming this Sunday to cover all the news over the winter. Of course, this is absolutely massive news. And what I'm probably going to do this Sunday is obviously cover all the other news that's happened, but cover the updates to the developing story here. Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari. Serugara says, I think to tick a box in his career potentially, maybe there's something he's seeing Ferrari do well that we do. Maybe Ferrari have presented some sort of data or whatever to indicate that this is the place to be rather than Mercedes, but we'll have to see. Josiah says we can't go there. What about Pourchaire? I think you're talking about Sainz to Audi. I mean, Pourchaire can still fill the other seat. That's a possibility, because at the end of the day, Audi, they do want a German driver in their car. But if you're looking out there at the minute, there's not that many good options for German drivers. Sebastian Vettel's retired. Will they lure him out of retirement? Personally, I don't think so. Mick Schumacher, I don't think is someone they long term should be going for. I don't think is quite what they need. Nico Hulkenberg, is a good option as long as he's performing at the level he was last year. But we have to remember, Hulkenberg is what, 35, something like that. So, yeah. Yanni says, so Ferrari's given up on winning a constructors title again? Not necessarily. Find some other comments here. And the tosser says they've been building up Hamilton for Ferrari for years. They have, and personally, I thought I thought it was just trying to generate clickbait just to get some money, really, because I just didn't think it was a realistic possibility. But here we are. Seeing a couple people saying Alonso to Mercedes, but I mean, again, that isn't a long-term option. Because Alonso is what, 42? I think, is he 42? Something like that. And we know Fernando is not going to be around long term. Plus, we have to remember 2007. And I know people may say, oh, that was McLaren. But back then, McLaren were the Mercedes works team. And what happened in 2007 did damage the reputation also of Mercedes. Toto Wolff said a few years ago that because of that, what happened in 2007, that Alonso racing for them is just not a possibility. Richard says Toto has lost his way. Mercedes corporate needs to can Toto. He cares more for teaching than racing. Well, certainly it's not going well this last couple years, and definitely his quality of leadership got to come under question. Super Kev says, I purchased a Honda Civic when Max won the championship. Does that mean I need to buy a Ferrari if Lewis wins the championship there? Maybe. Maybe. Find. Let's see. McLaren from races Defo Albon to Merck, in my opinion. Definitely an option. I mean, if they do want to have someone in there in the short term before Antonelli develops, Albon is a very good option to put in there. But yeah, like I said, see how Antonelli does this season, because if he really destroys everyone, then I think Mercedes have to put Antonelli in that car, because I mean, if he shows that he's that good already, there's no point wasting time putting him in a Williams. Just any find. Regardless, says Vettel could possibly end up in WEC, but I don't know. I think there's a chance Seb could come back to motorsport and do something in WEC or something like that for like a couple of years. But I think in terms of Formula One, I think he's done, to be honest, because he's got new motivations, new purpose in life, and he doesn't need to come back to Formula One. He's already done what he came to Formula One to do. I don't think there's anything more for him to do. He doesn't need to prove anything else to Sebastian. So, yeah. But, yeah. Better on watching after the stream is finished. Of course, make sure to post your thoughts in the comments section. But thank you guys for posting your comments in live chat. Been great to have you along for this first stream in, 2 months? Almost? Something like that. But I just quickly, before I come to the end of this stream, which obviously is always going to be a short stream because it is a breaking news story. Just want to quickly get into some news as to with the channel and what I'm getting up to, and what the plan is, I guess, for the next couple weeks or so. So in what is it? Yeah, about 3 weeks from now, just under 3 weeks from now, is the first day of pre-season testing, the 21st of February. Yeah, and that is 20 days away. So between now and then, we will be doing stuff on the channel. Of course, as I said, this Sunday, my original plan was to go live to cover some of the news over the winter. We will still do that. What we're going to do is we'll be going live at 12 p.m. UK time on Sunday, this Sunday. And what we're going to cover is the updates to the Lewis Hamilton Ferrari story, but also cover the news regarding Charles Leclerc extending his contract to Ferrari, Lando Norris extending his contract to McLaren, the news about Formula One rejecting Andretti's entry. I have got plenty to say on that. The news about Gunther Steiner being sacked by Haas. That's also something that I found quite interesting. Haas has been quite an interesting story in the last month or so. And also, we'll get into the news about a new Grand Prix coming to the calendar in 2026. And yes, sadly, it is another street race. So that's what we're going to be doing this Sunday, going through all of that. Probably going to be a pretty long stream, probably a couple hours or so. So make sure to come along to that this Sunday to give all your thoughts on all of those pieces of news. And then the Sunday after the what would it be, the 11th of February, so next Sunday, I will then get into some of the car reveals because, guys, the car reveal season is almost upon us. Let me just get up the date for the car reveals. So, let me just find it quickly. So, Haas F1 are actually revealing their car tomorrow, even though they claim it will be quite far off the pace at the first Grand Prix. So, yeah, going to be interesting to see what their statements are tomorrow regarding what their season is going to look like. And then on February the 5th, which is Monday, this Monday coming, you've got the Sauber and Williams car reveal. Then next Wednesday, on the 7th of February, you've got the Alpine car reveal. And then a day after, on February the 8th, which is 7 days from now, we have the reveal of the Visa Cash App Go Fuck Yourself Racing Bull car. That should be interesting. And then, yeah, so those will be the car reveals we will be getting into. I probably will touch on, to a degree, the Haas car reveal this Sunday, but I will more so get into it in the following stream on February the 11th. And then the other car reveals are Aston Martin on February the 12th, Ferrari February 13th, Mercedes and McLaren are revealing their cars on Valentine's Day, with Red Bull revealing their car on February the 15th. And then, yeah, on the 18th of February, we'll be getting into a preview for preseason testing and going through the other car reveals of the top 5 teams: Aston Martin, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull. So, yeah, plenty of content coming your way. In regards to, covering the latest news in terms of Formula One, but just a couple other things I want to announce. I know I have not uploaded, any content in the last 6 weeks. Again, as I said in my community post a couple of days ago, apologies about that, but I have been very busy, and I have also been working on a video that is pretty long, and it is a video or a piece of content that I'm doing for uni, but is also going to be uploaded to the channel. That video will be out within the next 2 weeks, probably around Valentine's Day. And it is like a long, I guess you could call it, documentary piece. I'm not sure yet if I would call it that, but yeah, it's a long video, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. Yeah, we'll get into that obviously in a couple weeks now. And with me releasing that video, there will also be the launch of a new website, which I have to do for this module at uni, because of course I'm doing a media course. So I will have, in 2 weeks from now, a new website up and running. And what that website will be for is another place where you can find my videos, also with a bit of written work to go along with it. Will also be a great place for long, channel updates, getting into my plans and what I'm aiming to do certain months and certain times of the year. And I will also have on that website a link to a donation service where you guys can donate to me, to the channel, and do probably extra content for the people that do donate. I think what I'm probably going to do, not all finalized yet, but what I'm probably going to do is set up a Patreon. And then, if you guys want to donate to that, then go ahead and do so. Like I said, I will provide a link to that on my website. Obviously, I'll post links to the website once it is live in a couple weeks. And then, yeah, if I get enough people donating to the Patreon, then I will do extra content. Maybe, I don't know, 2 to 3 extra live streams a month or something, as a bit of extra content for the people financially contributing to the channel. If you want to donate, you can, but if you don't worry about it. If you don't want to donate, I have no problem with that. I'm not going to force you guys or guilt trip anyone, because I know obviously money is a big issue, especially these days. So yeah, if you don't want to donate, like I said, don't worry about it. So yeah, that is what's coming up in the next couple of weeks, stream wise, and with the video and website. And also, I wanted to say thank you for the support on the last video I did upload, which was that Lance Stroll video. If you haven't seen it, link below in the description, a video titled Lance Stroll is Finished, where I get into why I think Lance Stroll as a Formula One driver is finished. I know there was a couple people that struggled with the concept of a title that had, more than had a, describe this. Um, there were a couple people that interpreted my title in a way that it wasn't meant to be. I wasn't claiming Lance Stroll was literally factually finished. I titled that video that way because, in my view, Stroll is finished. I provided my argument for that. But that video, yeah, it's got 106,000 views, the most viewed video on the channel, on the channel in history. Really, really happy with that. And really, that longer form, more, I guess, essay-like content, that's, in terms of recorded videos, that's where I want to take the channel, more so in that direction. And if it can be as successful views-wise as that was on a consistent basis, then that would be great. But yeah, we'll see how, I upload this year do in that regard. But don't worry, plenty of content coming your way. Like I said, this Sunday I'll be live at 12 p.m. UK time for a covering of all the big news over the winter. But then once I've done that, it will then be back to, weekly regular content. And of course, probably a couple weeks from now, I will get into what my plans are for pre-season testing in terms of coverage for that, with watch-alongs, streams afterwards, reviewing the sessions, and stuff like that. So yeah, I will announce that in good time. But yeah, thank you guys for coming along to this stream. Let me just quickly finish up that poll in the chat just to see what you guys think in regards to, will Lewis Hamilton win the championship with Ferrari? Of course, that elusive 8th world title. 90 votes in total, and 47% of you have voted yes. 41% have said no, so pretty close. And 11% have gone for don't know. If he does win an 8th world title in a Ferrari, then I don't think anyone at that point can deny that this guy is the greatest of all time. And what a way it would be to win that 8th world title in a Ferrari, which is obviously everybody's dream. But guys, again, thank you for coming along to this stream. Make sure to come along to the stream this Sunday at 12 p.m. UK time to go through all of the big news over the winter. And obviously after that, we'll be getting into the car reveals and then testing. And then, almost exactly a month from now, is the first Grand Prix of 2024. And it will be obviously the longest F1 season in history. 24 races from very early March until the middle of December. Hopefully, this year is a bit more competitive at the front than it was last year. Guys, thank you very much for coming along. And until my Sunday stream and my next few streams coming up this month, guys, it has been me, Kazza HD. Goodbye.